Yeah. What's good? It's B the G Shaw Cypher. You officially tuned in on the grind live. Are we support anybody out there grinding in any capacity? It don't matter what that capacity it is. If it's a grind and you want to talk about it, this is where you need to be. Shout out to everybody that's always tuning in, supporting us, and always taking things to the next level. But you already know the mantra. When you see me, you see dope people. I'm gonna repeat myself. When you see me, you see dope people. Anything else is uncivilized. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. It's out. The rain outside is crazy right now, but it doesn't matter what it is outside. We inside. We getting to it. Shout out to the homie JQ that's with us right now. What's going on, my G?
What's going on with you, my man?
Listen, man, I appreciate you taking the time out. This is the second installment of our interview. We last time, for the people who don't know, go to Power 1076 thetruth.com. You'll see the radio interview we did with myself and JQ. This is really the continuation of it. So make sure that y'all go check that out. That's on all platforms right now. So we got that on Spotify and iHeart and Apple Music and all that. But we're going to continue the conversation here through the virtual style. YouTube, Facebook, all that. What up? Listen, man, I got some new questions for you. So the last time we talked, you highlighted your father's role in your music journey. So can you share a specific moment where his guidance impacted your path that you're going in currently?
Mm, my dad's guidance always been, a part of my life. He's always showed me which way to go. Regardless of what it is, he gonna play a part in it and make
Right.
sure that I exceed in it. When I was playing football, he was a coach. He was my coach throughout 7 years old till I'm about to go to high school. He even coached me in high school. So that
Yeah.
just lets you know that, whatever it is that I'm gonna pursue, he gonna help me. So when I translated into music and he noticed that music was what I was trying to do, he was already there. So the guidance always been there, most definitely.
So he on board regardless of what it is, as long you know what I mean, and that's what's up. You know what I mean. Like I have a father like that too. You know what I mean. I try to be like
Facts.
that for my kids, so I definitely understand that. Um, your music describes, as described as pain music. Speaking real, how do you navigate sharing personal experiences while maintaining your privacy? Because you never want to tell everything, but you definitely want to give the people something.
It just come lyrically, Whatever I say, I just make sure I know what I'm saying, how I'm trying to deliver it,
Right.
and at the end of the day, it's my music. So I just say what I want to say. Whatever I say, it come from my heart. So I just go in there and talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best things out you can do is really be authentic in your music and really come from the
Most
heart with it,
definitely.
right?
Yeah.
Especially when you do that, people can tell that that's you because they ain't heard nothing else like it. You get what I'm saying? Because it's coming directly from you. But you mentioned the a while ago the importance of understanding the music business, right? Now you did football, you did other things, you transition to music, but now you got to understand the business of music. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So what were some challenges you faced in learning the industry's businesses side, if you feel like there was any at all?
Challenges. It's still gonna be challenges I'm gonna face even from this day on. But as far as that, it's just learning what how to post, how to target. At first, the me playing football, I was always posting football content. So switching it over to music content, I had to learn that my numbers is gonna go down, but I just got to keep posting it and bring it. It'll go back up because that's how it was with football.
Right. So football is something that's in the past for you, or do you kind of dabble into that still? As an artist.
It's still a nah. I could just say I got a love for it. It's always
Right.
opportunity. There's many people out there that's still engaged with sports, and so it's
Yeah.
it's always opportunities out there. But music is most definitely what I'm going
Definitely.
with right now.
It sounds like that's the number one priority, you know what I mean? And you want to make sure
Uh,
that you put all your all in that priority.
right.
Um, you got a new song, you know what I mean, that you dropped. And last time we talked about this song, If You know what I mean, that we played on Power 107.6 The Truth. But talk about this new record that you working with right now.
So we got Great Spirits coming May 9th in a couple of days. It's featuring Yellow Hill, produced by my producer Young D. I'm grateful, real grateful for Young D and his camp.
Yeah.
Meeting them was a real blessing. So just this whole project together, seeing it all come together like this, is a real blessing.
Yeah, in a couple days, you know what I'm saying? May 9th.
Most
That's
definitely.
it's Friday, right? So
Yes, sir.
um what's the whole concept behind the project that you drop, and at least the song, like, what is the fans, or what are the new fans that you're going to encounter, going to get out of this project?
Well, this project they're gonna get a different side of my music, most definitely. I'm a real melodic rap. All my music is authentic, it comes from my heart. So nothing is, I'm just talking and speaking me.
Right.
So, but they most definitely gonna get a different side that I can and I am able of tapping into, but
Mhm.
I just tap into a different side. So
Yeah.
this song, they most definitely gonna be able to see a different side of me, and that's good too. Tapping in with different audiences. Shout out
Yeah,
to Yellow
man.
Hill.
I think that's dope, because you don't put yourself in a box in specific categories either.
Right, right,
You
right.
get what I'm saying? Like, you really get to um you really get to show different styles and versatility in music. And that's what I like about music. Usually in a sport, you usually play a certain position, and that's your position, right? You perfect
Right,
that.
right.
But in music, you get to dive into different things, and do different melodies, and try different type of songs, and topics and things like that, and still stay within your lane. So, what I mean, I definitely like that.
Right, right.
um so how do you balance between staying true to your music or your vision, and then making strategic business decisions at the same time? Because sometimes that stuff, depending on who you deal with, sometimes people want you to do certain things from a business perspective that don't really fit in line with you trying to do. But you want to make sure that it doesn't mess with the vision of what you're trying to put out. So how do you keep that balance?
I keep that balance by just making sure I remain me or whatever I do. It's many. I'm a real good thinker, so I can think away. I can think my way around things. For
Right.
instance, like a song could be about this. I make music about this, but even though I make music about this, I could still come over here and do this like as if I did it, but still remain me in the
Right.
process. So that's all that is. Just
Yeah.
working with, and that's a good thing too. Then having that, being able to tap out of things, and that's just creativity right there.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Last time we talked, one of the things that and at least in the next 5 years, you express being able to really help others. You know what I'm saying? And are there any um initiatives or projects or other that you considering, that support up and coming artists, or you really just focused on, what you got going on right now?
Well, as of right now, I'm working with a lot of people. It's a lot of people under the scenes that I'm working on. We
Mhm.
we working on songs. We working right now. So even though we got this song coming out right now, and we gonna have another song, all of this stuff coming, we still working on future projects. So I'm always working. So as far as that, there's plenty of people that eventually we is gonna be doing that rollout with. But right now, we just locking in, just going in promotion, straight promote, getting my face out there. That's what I got to do
Right.
right now.
Right. And definitely. Um, we in an era right now when a lot of people talk about, especially in the music, we talk about our mental health and our emotional well-being, and things of that nature. How do you connect with, how do you ensure, like, your emotional well-being is being taken care of, when you're creating the music, when you got a chip on, if you got a chip on your shoulder, like, is music the way that you really get that out, or do you have other routines that, to keep yourself in check, or keep yourself focused on your goal?
It's plenty of things like such as people that I know. Talking to people always could be a way to resolve feelings that you feel. Just
Right.
going to talk to somebody. I got good support system. My brother, my sisters, my dad, my mom. So I mean, other than that, but yeah, music most definitely. Music is a great way for me to take away pain. Just talk about things. That's it's kind of like therapy. People go to therapy to realize, to learn about what's going on. They might not know what's going on, but
Right.
the person that's talking to them is talking them into figuring out what's going on. Eventually they talk about it. So that's
Yeah.
all music does for me. I just, as soon as I get in the studio, I hear the beat. A lot of things, I'll just be like, okay, I do feel this way, and I'll just say
Yeah.
it. Most definitely.
um as you know, music itself evolves, and it changes, and it transforms into different things. People create their own genres and their own sounds, and really try to make it their own. How do you adapt to changes while still maintaining your core message?
Changes. I
Yeah,
still,
is there anything you felt like, so let me ask you like this, is there anything you felt like musically changed, where you felt like, okay, I need to pivot this way? or I need to do this, or I need to add this to my list of skills and things like that I have when making music.
Right, right. I see what you're saying. It's plenty of change out here. As time goes on, music is gonna just keep changing and changing and changing and changing. We've seen that through history. So with me, I just know as long as I stay focused to what I'm got going and what message I'm trying to deliver, I
Right.
feel like that's what's gonna make me excellent. Everybody that is excellent right now, they're all excellent because they are who they are. So as long as I do that and just focus on who I'm trying to be, I know I could do it.
Definitely. As you create music and you develop the songs and you create projects and you take things to the next level, looking years down the line, if you want your fans and people who gravitate to your music to remember anything, or remember a specific message you delivered, what message do you think you want, do you want them to always take away from your music?
Patience. Right there. That's
Yeah.
the my up and coming album, Patience. Everything is patience. You just gotta wait, stay
Right.
focused, and just work. Everything gonna come to you. Keep praying, and it's all gonna come to you. Surely.
Patience is definitely something that a lot of people don't have, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, because the waiting game is something that a lot of people, what I mean, fail at succeeding in because they want it now, right? They look at social media and be like, yo, I can have this tomorrow. In reality, the waiting game is part of the process, and it's just all about waiting your turn. So patience is definitely a good one, you know what I mean? And
Most
really part of the
definitely.
grind. Um, so um in your own words, like, what does success look like for you at this point of your career, and how has that vision changed over time?
Success right now, I just know that I still got a long way to go, and over
Right.
time, I just know I've gotten closer to where I was back then.
Yeah, yeah.
Most definitely.
Shout out to the homie, TC versus Chance, the
Most
whole
definitely.
swimming with sharks family, that's out there doing their thing. You also part of that camp, so talk to me about that collaboration, how you got involved with that team, and what part do they play in your future within this music business?
Just connection, just having connections. Connections is everything in this world. Being connected, that's a good thing. It brings bonds that you may never know that I had no idea that I was going to be doing this, but I did. And just doing that, led me to being able to do things like this, which speaks for itself. So,
Right,
most
right.
definitely.
So how long professionally have you said have you been doing this music? Have you been doing music from a professional perspective?
Professionally, I could say about my college year. I started in high school. I was on band lab, but once I got that mic during college, that's when I could say I started taking it professionally in that car every night, making music and grinding, learning
So,
about my sound.
so are you talking like 5, 6, 7 years? Like, what's the number?
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I say about like 3 years now. Most
3 years.
definitely, about more
So
3 years.
talk. So tell me. So how do you feel about the music that you were making on day one versus the music you making now? Do you see the progression? Do you see the change? Like, talk to me about JQ, the new artist, versus JQ, the more established artist 3 years later.
Back then, I was still new to everything, so I was learning my sound. I probably go in there and just say anything, especially when I was just writing before I started actually laying down my music on
Right.
on a track. I'd probably just go in there just saying anything. But all of that still helped because it was part of the journey. So as I got older and I started learning what I really want to talk about,
Yeah.
everything just came together. So I feel like now I'm more versatile. I speak more real. I try to stay more true to myself. And I just try to get better every song. Most definitely, that's the thing. So every song, I'm trying to get better. I want my last song to be better than this song. I ain't trying to
Right.
go in there and just make anything.
Right. I mean, you got to definitely have substance with the songs that you putting out, right? Like, you got to really sit down and deliver, a full record versus just a couple lyrics to a beat, right? Like, you're trying to
Right.
really deliver a record. Um, what else, man, that JQ wants to get into? I know we talked a little bit on the power, on the radio station about some other things, but now that it's been a while, like, what else do you want to get into as you deliver this project in a couple days?
I want to get into a lot. I want to just expand off, meet a lot of different people, do a lot of more different things. Be outside, just be outside around that energy. Most
Right.
definitely a lot. Be around a lot of people that's like me. That's where a lot of things. That's where a lot of stuff happening. Being in certain rooms, good energy, tapping in with people.
Have you
Just
had the
talking.
opportunity to perform in front of anybody, like stages or open up for any artists?
Nah, not on no music level, not right now. Probably a little long time ago on some kid stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. What about videos? You got any videos that you can promote or
Oh
coming out
yeah, I got a
soon?
I got a music video on YouTube right now for the music video for If You dropped the day after the song, so you
Right,
can go
right,
check that out most definitely. And
definitely,
then my Instagram, I'm always posting content, so as much as videos, that's always getting thrown out. You can always
yeah,
go to my Instagram at FlimsyJ.
definitely. Um, anybody you want to shout out, man? Is there anybody out there that you want to make sure they know what's going on with you?
Yeah, shout out to my pops, shout out to my mom, shout out to my brothers. They're the one who making sure that I'm staying sane in this whole thing.
Yeah,
Shout out to everybody that just played a part. My whole family, they a big part of the rollout. Everybody that support me, all my
yeah.
friends,
We'll
most
talk
definitely.
about the family, man. Like the family themselves are your big support group. Like how, besides your pops, as I know your father is knee deep into your music business and what you got going on. But what about the other support system that you have outside of Swimming with Sharks? Like how have they been supportive in your journey?
Oh, they real supportive. Like my dad helped me, so he'll send out my music video link to people in the group chat, in the family group chat. As soon as
Right.
he send it, they got people subscribing. So all of that little stuff, it just better. And they play. My family is real big, so the fact that that they play a big part, it most definitely
Yeah.
comes in handy for surely.
Do you record at home primarily?
Yeah, yeah, I record right here.
Do you mix and master your own stuff, or do you send that to an engineer?
So I'll make the song, get it how I like want it to sound, then I'll most definitely send it to an engineer. Shout out to Sky Diddy, most definitely. He'll help out for sure. He teaches me a lot of things.
Yeah, you sound like me. Like I recorded, in the house as well, and then I get it. I'm good. I'm great enough to make it sound the way I want it to, right? Like from a vocal perspective, and make it sound, and then I send it off to the engineer to tighten that thing up, turn that thing up a notch. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, it's important to really have that. I think. I love the studio vibe. I like to be able to go in studio and rock out with people and really create that record. But to be honest with you, doing that, you still on a timeline, right? Because you still got certain studio time that you're dealing with, and you
Yeah.
know what I mean. And if you with other people, if you with other people, then depending on how fast they write and think and really vibe out with you, will determine whether you get that song done. You know what I'm saying? But when you by yourself, you got all the time in the world at the home at the crib, right? To get it right, to make it go back,
All night.
you know what I mean? And let it sit for a minute, maybe come back later when your ears is, had time to rest. And then, once you get it the way you want it, you send it to the engineer and you good to go. So, um, definitely a good thing to have the in-home studio. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you taking the time out again with us. Is there anything else you want to tell the people, let the people know before we get out of here?
Yeah, I just want to put more emphasis on Great Spirits coming out May 9th, Yellow Hill. We going up, man. Produced by Young D. Shout out to RP Films too. Directed by RP. That's a real good cameraman. So
Okay.
this whole production, it's something to look into. So
Yeah, make sure y'all go check that out. So it's going to be on obviously, from a video perspective, you got your YouTube channel, but from the music perspective, you putting that out on like Spotify and iHeart, and I mean
everything,
Spotify and iTunes and all that on Apple
yeah,
Music.
yeah,
Yeah, so
Pandora, everything.
all the DSPs. So shout out to everybody that's out there. Make sure y'all go check that out. On all DSPs on the knife. And support JQ because he grinding, he taking things to another level. You know what I mean? Well, JQ, man, keep doing your thing, keep grinding. We'll talk to you soon. Enjoy your night.
Yes, sir. I appreciate.